This is a KISS original on 101.9 KISS FM. The geekdom is spreading. It is present at almost every turn. And it's only a matter of time before it comes for you.
Nothing in our solar system can help us.
Let the Geek Patrol be your guide as you delve into the worlds of science, gaming, and pop culture. This is Geek Tank Radio.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. This season of Geek Tank Radio is brought to you by Optimus Prime Beef. These delicious steaks are cut from robotically enhanced cows and aged to perfection. Optimus Prime Beef is a great source of protein, iron, and essential oils. Transform your dinner table tonight with Optimus Prime Beef. Alan, I scored this account in your honor, sir.
I am so honored and proud.
Remember when we did the Geek Eats thing?
Oh, yeah.
That's what we need.
Yeah, where were they when we needed? No, I'm shooting Joe because of that segment.
Okay.
Because I'm not eating this. Hey,
when you try the Decepticon filet mignon.
Check it out, Birdie.
Filet de Decepticon.
Well, that's the thing. You don't know what it's going to go in as or come out.
That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah,
Andy's is an iPad.
Yeah.
I feel gypped now.
Anyway, Andy looks.
I didn't want this.
Andy looks slightly horrified, which was what I was going for. But
stop scaring Andy.
Anyway,
him and Allie are connections to the youth of America.
That's true.
I'm just looking for some A1.
If I'm the connection to the youth
Allie's
of
half
America.
done with hers. Are you okay? All right.
Anyway, welcome to Geek Tank.
She needs
everybody.
the iron.
She does need a little iron, so
we might need to check on her.
Yeah. And anyway, but yeah. So guys, follow up to Halloween. I guess everybody survived. Allie sort of survived. Yeah, in the fetal position. But you guys had some great experiences that you're going to recap. Yeah. Our buddies Kazha, the band Kazha. Two of the members are coming in, Kazuha Oda. It's confusing. I wish they would have just called the band Kazuha.
Well, no. Here. Say Hideki's last name, Joe.
No.
For Hideki's sake, no.
They're coming in. They've got some pretty major news. They're up and
yeah.
Pretty soon they're going to be too good for us. So. And also in terms of guests, we got our friend Catherine Knowles coming in.
Yeah.
Another rising star in the art community.
You know her work.
You know her work if you have seen anything to do with Geek Tank. So and then Break of Day. What is that?
No. That's me and Birdie are going to tell you how stupid you are for not watching Daybreak.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and you're going to be stupid if you miss Alan's science segment because light up human skin. And
oh yeah.
And we've got even more that we're not going to tease. Just stay tuned for Geek Tank Radio.
Geek Tank Radio. More below and on 1019kissfm.com. Keyword Geek Tank. No matter what nefarious plan he has cooked up, Alan always keeps it educational. Get banished to Professor Gilbreth's Science Corner.
Alrighty. Needless to say, I have been slightly fascinated with medical advancements here lately.
Oh, yeah. It's come home for you, Alan, hasn't it?
Well, so,
we can rebuild him.
Yeah. And they have.
We have the technology.
And thank goodness they now have Groupons for that. So let me tell you. Well, I happened to be flipping through a little light reading last night from the American Chemical Society. Don't ask why. Just
That's
go with
light
it.
reading?
That is light reading. Man, all I got to say is I feel the pain of the producers from Star Trek.
Which Star Trek, Alan?
Just pick one.
Okay.
Just pick any one one of them where you're trying to have tech that is in the future.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Well, you're trying to have tech that is in the future.
Oh,
okay.
Because we had like the tricorders and we had the little thingies and I remember episodes when Picard was walking around with a pad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and next thing you know, we got pads everywhere. Next thing So, all right, picture this, Allie. You need to know what time it is, and you don't want to, dig around for your cell phone. You don't wear a watch anymore. How about you just touch that spot on the back of your hand and the time lights up?
Everything you're saying is terrible, and I hate it.
Yeah, I knew you'd trigger Allie on that one. That'll get her good. Yeah. So, Allie, you don't want a robot in your arm that's going to tell you what time it is?
There was a thing I saw that you could put the little chippy in your hands. You could pay with just your wrist. I don't like it.
This doesn't go in your hand. This just goes on it like a Band-Aid.
I hate that slightly less.
So you just put it on the back of your hand. and you can check your, you could look up your time and that kind of stuff. So here's what's going on. Let's play with something called alternating current electroluminescent, or an A-cell
That
display.
sounds like a Tesla operation, doesn't it?
Bingo. This is actually an idea tossed around back, as they would like to say, in the day.
I pay attention, Allie.
I do. Look at this, man. Joe's on it.
Okay.
They have developed a stretchable light-emitting device called an A-cell, and you can stick it on your skin or something like that, like a temporary tattoo. It has basically the illumination of like a dim cell phone in normal indoor light. And one of the first functions they did with it was make a watch, like a stopwatch. So you could look at your time. And I'm going to just trying it out. Of the ramifications for this are fantastic.
Does this have a battery? Does this have a battery in it?
Well, you move. Remember we talked about
You're providing the
we remember we talked
boy.
about neuromuscular providing charging capabilities for the upcoming wearable devices.
So it is. There is a interface. You're right, Allie.
Yeah,
You're right to fear this technology. Okay, go ahead.
Well,
Yeah.
well, it's just basically it's set up like an LED. It's just a polymer with nanoparticles in it. You put the right electrodes to it, and voila, you have a stopwatch.
But like, how long does it last if it's just like a little stick? Or...
Well, they could last up to several weeks even. So,
Is it wet?
well, picture
point.
if you were a diabetic and you needed to check your sugar.
Isn't there an
Now
app for
you
that
just-
though? Allie?
Well, there are now apps for that,
Yeah.
and you now have devices you can pop onto your arm. But this is literally no bigger than a Band-Aid. This isn't even a large device.
But it's
this
just
is literally something you could put on the inside of your wrist, the back of your hand,
Yeah.
and touch it, and voila, it lights up and tells you things.
But I think Allie hit the right mark. Is this a disposable item? And what do they do with it when they're done with it? You're not going to kill the sea turtles with a bunch of these things floating in the ocean, are you?
Just
No, I mean, I'm just
Band-Aids
curious if
floating
it's-
in the ocean.
This
is it
is
temporary
rather
or-
reusable right now.
So they can recycle these.
Yes,
babies.
they're
Okay.
not throwing them away or something like that.
Yeah.
Just basically it is a thin little, it would feel rubbery on your skin. It's just basically a polymer. And let's think about human machine interfaces. You need to check on somebody's pacemaker. They could touch the button and your app would light up on your own hand.
Yeah, like in a cool future world where like people created things and we got to use them for good. That'd be neato, but like that's not the world we live in. Every technology gets into it.
Picture
becomes a weapon
being able to do your
class systems. I don't like it.
DUI test for yourself on the back of your hand.
Now, why do you look at Allie with that one?
Well, I was trying to get to a practical use here, so
Like, well, maybe we're onto something.
you're
Yeah.
kind of like, oh, maybe I don't need to be driving. Okay, so,
But Alan, is the motivation here that now suddenly our cell phones are too, I mean, what's wrong with the good old cell phone for a lot of these
Or
jobs?
just like a wristwatch.
well,
is this just
it's the next picture. The next time you go into the doctor's office, and instead of them saying, open wide, here's your thermometer, they could literally just put a little Band-Aid on the inside of your wrist. A few seconds later, they could get your temperature.
or they could just tap in to all the data that's been collected on this thing that you've been wearing for the last 2 years, right? And just say, well, looks like your heart rate has been even.
Let's
or
say
looks
you
like
do have a
you're-
chronic condition.
Right.
Let's say you do have like a pacemaker.
Yeah.
In that case, well, they already have apps for that.
Yeah.
I will recall back when my father got a pacemaker, and I remember astoundingly when the rep came in to check his pacemaker to make sure it was working.
Yeah.
And he took an over-the-counter laptop out of his case. I mean, you could have just gone down to any big box store and bought this laptop.
Yeah.
He plugged a few electrodes into the USB port, stuck them on my father's chest, and proceeded to call up the software. And he goes, okay, here's what we're going to do. You might feel this, you might not, but we're going to make it skip a beat.
Oh. Yeah,
And he
that might
ran
be
it through and
unpleasant.
hit the button and you could skip a beat. Now, my sense of humor I'm watching this, and I'm thinking, Dad, that's right. You better behave yourself. We can clap you on. We can clap you off. We can make you go sit down. So these technologies are getting smaller. They're getting lighter. They're getting less invasive. Which is
they want you to think. Not less
after the invasive I just went through, less invasive has a whole new meaning to me.
Oh yeah.
I now understand what all of those devices are used for in the horror movies. I've now seen them all.
Yeah.
So
I think it's cool, but we don't live in like a Star Trek world where like technology is for everyone and it gets to be used in like cool, fun ways. They're just gonna make this into some terrible thing. It's all science is just becoming all terrible.
Yeah,
we don't live in Star Trek, okay?
It's the precursor to being chipped.
Yeah.
And tracked every moment of every second.
We've already got that. We've already got that.
And dear listeners,
I got news for you. You have a cell phone that has a GPS chip in it. You are already tracked, and you paid for it.
Yeah. And dear listeners, keep in mind the youngest members of Geek Tank are in full agreement with me on this one. So I'm not just the old curmudgeon saying get off my internet.
Get off my internet.
Get out of my bloodstream.
Get out of my bloodstream. We got.
I could see some limited uses on this, Alan. I guess the disposable nature of it is what I'm very curious about, like reusing these things or something. Because that, to be honest, that's the part because technologies go obsolete so quickly nowadays. So it's like, what do you do with all these things that go obsolete? Well, if you have items that are reusable, I think that's really a better
where you hold on to them long enough and hopefully one day American Pickers shows up and offers you money for it. So.
I don't know. I'm not as horrified by this for some reason, Allie. Maybe Alan's lulling me into a false sense of security, but
I don't buy it.
Once they start injecting them, all bets are off.
It, Joe.
No. This is external to skin. This is doing things. This is doing things. Well, previously to find out this information, we had to put something in your body. Now all we got to do is put something on your body or just near you.
Yeah.
And then we can find out your lovely health information.
See, that's what Allie doesn't want. So, okay.
Well, right now they're taking, the old way was let's go take a look the hard way.
Oh. Yeah, actually, Alan, you mentioned there's a lot of tests that people our age need that I wouldn't mind if we didn't have to.
Yeah, Joe, I'm looking at you, Joe. I'm looking at you.
Alan, I'm on your side. I don't know how you did it, but suddenly I'm converted. So, anyway.
That's good. We stop right there, Andy. He's on my side now.
The Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention is turning 10 and celebrating in a big way. We're starting Friday, November 15th, back in East Memphis at Memphis Marriott East. Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention 2019, November 15th through 17th. Check out the stars, Janelle Stevens from Black Panther and Luke Cage. Our Friday night concert, headlined by Kazha, cosplay contests, live cartoons, comic book artists, authors, and one-of-a-kind collectibles you can't find anywhere in the galaxy. Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention, November 15th through 17th at Memphis Marriott East. Get your 3-day passes or single-day tickets now at MCFC.com.
Gadgets,
gizmos,
games.
Oh my.
These guys got their hands on it in the tank. Geek Tank Radio is on.
Okay, so do you guys want the good news?
We want the BlizzCon news.
You want the BlizzCon news? Okay.
Yeah, give us an update.
All right, so BlizzCon is happening right now. As in right this second in Anaheim, California. It is happening.
How is
right
it happening?
now.
Like there are 7 people there.
As in probably what is it? Probably an hour ago it started. The doors have opened.
Okay.
People are filing into the main hall in the Anaheim Convention Center for the opening ceremonies.
What's the atmosphere like? Thick.
Okay.
Rife.
I right outside on the public area, outside of the Anaheim Convention Center, there was a huge protest.
Nice.
So where there's
exactly what we said was going to
like during San Diego Comic-Con and everything. We've got the guys with the protest signs.
Yeah, it's like during San Diego Comic-Con. There's all the dudes out there holding the Jesus signs.
But now there's like 4,000 people.
This one's
that's like Winnie the Pooh.
I wouldn't say there's that many, but there's a lot of signs. They're handing out free T-shirts that say free Hong Kong
Wow.
on them.
Blizzard bad.
They're handing them out to everybody who wants one who's going into the convention.
Yeah.
So far as I've seen, Blizzard has not banned any clothes
Right.
or anything.
now.
There are people who are dressed like Winnie the Pooh going into BlizzCon.
Even though they said they would not allow them in.
Yeah.
What they have banned, interestingly, is cameras.
Oh. Well, you know what? That makes more sense.
With any kind of, like, if you have a camera that has a detachable lens,
yeah.
or any lens that goes beyond, like, I think they said 4 inches, you cannot have it.
Which that's a new thing. I mean, because they used to, like, you know, they wanted you to
Yes,
post
they
all your
wanted
stuff.
you to post it as much as possible.
Yeah, but this makes more sense because you could say that that's not there. You know, the pictures from the phone aren't there.
Yeah.
You know?
So, like I said, it's just now starting. They haven't even done the opening ceremony yet. They're just kind of still letting people in.
Yeah.
As we're recording this. So,
that should be pretty interesting.
Like next week we're gonna have a lot to talk about from.
Can I
this.
say something that's hilarious?
Go ahead.
That our most political segments are gaming.
Yeah,
it is weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of interesting,
but for the good news for this week, I have been playing The Outer Worlds.
Which I saw the commercials for that, and it just looks fun.
Which is, it really is. It's just stellar.
Wait, FPS? What are we talking about?
It is an FPS. It is developed by Obsidian Entertainment, who are the original developers and the original creators of the Fallout series.
Right.
And
which is basically Fallout in space, right?
It is basically Fallout in space. Yeah. So your character
Fallout in space.
Your character is an original colonist who was trying to like go out into space and settle these colonies on these planets or whatever. And the ship that you were on got lost adrift, and all 700 whatever passengers on your ship have been stuck in hibernation for hundreds of years. And then this scientist guy shows up, manages to unthaw you and you alone, and then you get sent out to try to find a way to rescue everybody else who was on your ship.
So basically, you either have to find your way to your next home or find your next home.
Yeah. So in the time period that your ship has been lost, a whole bunch of other ships got launched, and all of these planets have been settled.
Oh, cool.
Right. But it has a vibe of like, because all the planets and all the launch colony ships were paid for by various corporations.
Yeah. Nice.
So it has a vibe of like very early industrialized America, like pre-union,
right?
Where like it's basically you're lucky to have a job, kind of.
Oh yeah.
Kind of feel.
Yeah.
Where, yes, like you get, like so I'm not very far into the game. So the first place that I've come to is like they can food, right? And they have the barest minimum of support for their workers or whatever. There's like a small cantina that they keep stocked with basically the canned food that they can there.
Wait, but can you jump like planet to planet? And
well, the first quest is to try to repair a ship.
Oh, okay.
Because what happens is you're in a little escape pod,
right?
And your escape pod gets shot down to this planet, and
you're looking for two droids.
Well, the scientist dude hired a mercenary to. Yes, you're looking for two droids. The scientist dude hired a mercenary to like help you.
Yeah.
But your escape pod lands on him.
Nice.
Little shoes sticking out from underneath.
No, that's exactly what it looks like.
And the lead character looks amazing, like Chris Pratt at this point.
Well,
I'm kind of following the storyline here. I think I've seen this movie.
Yeah.
So
does everything turn to color when you land?
You kind of have to just pick up his stuff and carry on from there on your own.
I'm trying to say he's all dead.
Yes.
The only thing you can do then is just go through his pockets.
Right.
Got it.
But it's very. But speaking
Thanks,
of
Mister. Bye.
speaking of the character design, the character customization in this game is far and away beyond what I've seen in an RPG up to this point.
Okay, but yeah, come on. We had that with Fallout, the original Fallout, where we're like literally picking nose hairs. You know what I mean? Like,
No, this actually lets you pick nose hairs.
Oh my gosh.
This
Like-
makes Skyrim look like a child's toy.
Yes. This makes Skyrim, like even Skyrim with mods. This
How long
looks
did it?
better than
Okay, speaking of, that being said, then how long did it take you to get through that part?
4
Because
days.
it took me.
the customization.
Yeah,
2 hours.
yeah. See, it took me on Skyrim. It took me like 5-6 hours to get
And the
through
thing
the
is, like,
customization.
we've played games that have character customizers in them before.
Sure.
Where like, and especially like Brandon, you know this from when we would like make all of us in the WWE games.
Oh
right?
yeah, because
Where-
I did what are those freaking videos you make with horrible video games?
Yes.
Machinima
Yes.
years ago.
Years and years ago.
R.I.P. Lost Gamers Production.
But we would do, there's always like 1 or 2 haircuts in a character customizer
Right.
that you're like, oh, that looks cool, and the rest of them are trash.
Yeah, that's
Right?
kind of like me, but I gotta settle.
Yeah.
Every hairstyle in this game looks good.
Oh,
Every
Now,
facial composition looks like a human being.
now here's
Like it's actually difficult because I went through it and I was like, how messed up can I make this person look?
right.
Because no, Andy doesn't go, my guy's going to look amazing. He's going to be model quality, good looks. He's going to be buff. He's going to be awesome. And he's like, no, let's see if I can stretch his nose around to his ear.
Yeah.
And you can.
And this one, it's actually difficult to make them not look like
Normal.
plausible.
Right.
Now, here's the question I have for you.
Not normal, plausible.
Yeah. So here's the question I have for you. And this was always one of those things that we bitched about constantly with the WWE stuff.
Yes.
Can you take the hair, the hairstyle,
Yes.
and slowly make it longer? Because we always wanted to be able to do that because they always had stages, and you
Right.
could take a hairstyle, and your hair would be in the middle, and you're like, I want to get this as close to mine as possible, and it's either way too short or way too long.
No. So they have stock haircuts.
Right.
But all the stock haircuts look really good.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, I've got a bit of news. If you don't mind me interjecting some news, and speaking of character mods and
Go
things
ahead.
like that, EA is potentially bringing back NCAA football.
Oh yeah, I saw that because the NCAA ruled that players
can start paying players.
Players can get paid for their
Right.
likenesses and stuff.
This is huge because
It's a big deal.
we used to play this when I was in college, like 2003, 2004.
Yeah, the last one was 2000 and I think the last NCAA game was 2013.
13, right?
Yeah.
And 2K13, NCAA 2K13 from EA. And I'm going to be honest with you, they were so much fun because you could literally form a kid in high school, get basically loved on by all these colleges, right?
Yeah.
And you play it in career mode, and he goes up to the pros.
Right.
The other cool part about that was that you could play the next EA game, and your character would either have been graduated, or you could continue them on because it would be in the cloud.
Yeah.
So they would
So
basically.
you would have an NCAA player, and then you could carry that character over into Madden.
right.
Right.
You know what I want?
What?
I want an NCAA game
Yeah.
where your player can get suspended from play due to academic probation,
Yeah.
and
Which
then
is
you
true.
have to do things in order to get back into the game,
So basically, you have to take tests.
or bribe a teacher, or bribe a teacher.
Oh.
We can go the UT method.
Oh.
Shots fired.
No, that's really cool.
I'm stoked about it though.
You know what? That might actually make NBA Live playable again.
Yeah.
If they do NCAA March Madness again,
Oh yeah.
and then you have a player that you can carry into.
I mean, you can start
NBA
paying
Live?
these kids, which we all agree.
Because God
it's like-
knows 2K is not playable anymore.
No, it's not.
Have you seen? Oh my gosh! Have you seen the memes that have been coming out of WWE 2K20?
Oh, God, that's horrible.
It's so funny.
Dude.
But by the way, they have killed that franchise with that game.
I know.
It's awful.
It's so bad.
You cannot play it. The only thing it is for
It's
are the
for me,
memes.
It's memeing.
Right.
Yeah. Like I've had people who have been like, you know what? I kind of want to play it now just to see how bad it really is. Like,
what's horrible about it is that, look back.
It's like when you watch Twilight.
Yeah, right. It's like, but think about it. 4 years back when we were playing, 2K15.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And then you look at this, and it's like we're going back to playing crap on the NES.
Yeah.
Or SNES.
No,
anyway.
somebody did a snapshot of the last WWE game that wasn't 2K.
Yeah.
Which was, I think, like
SmackDown.
It was SmackDown 2010, something like that.
Something like that.
So they did a snapshot, which would have been on like the PS3 and the 360, by the way.
Yeah.
They did a snapshot of The Rock in that game.
It's like,
and he was good.
And
yeah.
and compared it to the version of The Rock that's in 2K20.
Oh.
And The Rock in
the original,
the 09 or 2010 game looks better.
Yeah.
Like, as in, looks like a more accurate model of the human being of Dwayne Johnson than
the blockhead.
The blocky. I was playing. So my roommate still has NBA 2K20.
Yeah.
Even though I vehemently tried to convince him not to keep it. But we were playing it last night because we were having a Halloween party, and weirdly,
because that's a Halloween game.
Yeah, it's a very Halloween game. But weirdly, a couple of guys were like, "Oh, let's play 2K." So we're playing it last night, and I was playing with the classic mid '80s Celtics, Larry Bird, and the ones who went up against Magic and the Lakers in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin McHale's figure or player
character model.
Thank you. I was like, had the most inhuman face I've ever seen.
Yeah, but have you
in a video game?
Have you seen him when he's playing?
That's actually kind of true.
Well, that's going on. How would you know with
he
that
makes
one?
Some really weird. He would make some really weird faces.
But I mean, it was just like I had to point it out to the people who were with me. I was like, what is this swamp creature that's in this game?
Why do I get
that's supposed to be a human being?
Why do I get the feeling most of the others were too drunk to care?
They probably saw him as normal. They're like, what's wrong with him?
But yeah, it's like.
It feels like we have a little trend going on, gang.
It's a state of commentary on like, oh, we're just going to put out annual crap.
It feels like we're going backwards in some areas, and in some areas we're going way too far forward in the sense that, wow, these people look real. Like I'm playing with a human,
right?
You know.
Well, I mean, look at the AR showcases with Pokemon.
Yeah,
you got the celebrities with their Pokebuddy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's kind of cool in some regards. I'm not mad at it, but it's creepy. I think that's what's like.
Well, I have a feeling that with the advent of like deepfake technology and stuff, we're gonna start seeing like really realistic stuff.
I'm not mad at it, but I'm kind of creeped out by it.
On the one hand, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, yeah, more realistic character models, right on. And on the other hand, I'm like,
what's real?
Yeah. That's not cool.
Yeah. Oh, well. I'm excited.
No, it'll be fun. It'll be cool. I always appreciate, though, like, because this is the difference, right? When you're looking at a 2K game or any annual game, because, like, Madden did the same thing this year, where it's just...
backwards.
It's the same crap.
Right.
Right? Oh, you updated your roster. Yay.
Whippy dippy.
It's
called DLC.
And then you compare that to a game like The Outer Worlds that had a long development cycle.
Right.
That was delayed at least once or twice.
Umpteen times, right.
And what you have is a game that the community is rallying behind. People are picking it up, especially with Bethesda making so many mistakes with the Fallout series, with Fallout 76 and stuff.
Well, I mean, again, I think we go back to last season when we said, "Are you trying to kill the Are you trying to kill the title?" You know,
and you just go, gamers are finally figuring out, like Ubisoft is in trouble for this right now.
Yeah,
they just had their CEO just had a phone call with investors, a conference call with investors. One of the investors literally said to him, "Do you?" Because their Ghost Recon Breakpoint sold terribly,
right?
And so did the Division 2. And the investors were like, okay, do you think that the reason that this is happening is because gamers are backlashing against microtransactions and stuff in our games?
No, we're against the anti-art that is your game right now.
Yeah, and the CEO was like, no, I think we just needed a longer development cycle. And I was kind of listening to that interview and going like, maybe a little bit of both. Take a little bit more time to make a good game, but also like don't try to nickel and dime your players.
Right.
Because here's the thing: if you don't make a good game, then your gamer won't spend $60 on it initially.
Right.
For you to then nickel and dime them after they've paid for it.
Exactly.
Right? Like if you think you're going to make your money through the microtransactions and all that stuff, they first have to be willing to spend the 60.
Right.
Right?
Right.
If they're not willing to spend the 60 because the game looks terrible, then you're not going to be able to nickel and dime them to death.
Right.
Just from your business model. Right?
I mean, does that make us... Yeah. I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
Spend more time on the game. Give us what we want, but don't nickel and dime us in the end.
Right.
There you go.
So we'll have some more news next season. I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes out of BlizzCon this week. I am a Blizzard fan.
And guess what? Will we be playing it? Will we be playing it?
Supposedly there have been a ton of leaks, and they're going to announce Overwatch 2 this weekend.
Well, will we
which
be
I'm
playing
very excited
Star
about.
Wars next?
Star Wars isn't out for 2 weeks. It's the middle of November.
Dang. Yep.
I did put my pre-order in for it.
You did it!
Yeah, well, they told me I got a free ticket to Rise of Skywalker for doing it, so I was like, all right.
Yeah.
So after we get back from MCFC, are we going to be playing it, Andy?
Yes, we are. Yes,
That's what we needed to hear.
Yes, we will be playing it on our Twitch channel, Ready Player Geek, which you can find at twitch.tv/ReadyPlayerGeek. If you have any comments or questions or interesting facts for us, or you just want to hit us up, you can always hit us up 2 places. First is geektankradio at gmail.com. Or we also have one for the Twitch channel. It's just readyplayergeek at gmail.com. Please hit us up. We would love to hear from you. And coming up next, we have...
Oh. We're going to be visited by the band Kazha.
Oh, awesome.
We've talked about them.
We've played them.
And now we'll show you.
The all-new Twitch channel from Geek Tank Radio is here.
Go Ready Player Geek.
Where we unpack and dive into single-player, story-driven games, to fighters, to multiplayer shooters, to tabletop and card games, and everything in between.
And stay up to date with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Ready Player Geek.
Check us out now at twitch.tv/ReadyPlayerGeek.
Streaming every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday night at 8 Central.
The Geek Patrol are the who's who when it comes to the geek universe.
They're in a geek tank.
All right, guys. Well, we've got two of our favorite people here in the studio. We've got Kazuha, Oda, and Hideki Matsu, who I'm not pronouncing.
Nobody puts Hideki in the corner.
Hideki the Shredder, you know.
Hideki is the limelight.
Yeah.
Sorry.
My boy Hideki.
Who from Kazha, you know, one of our favorite bands ever. So, hey, Kazuha, good to talk to you.
Hello.
So there's a lot happening since, well, first of all, shameless plug, you're going to be at the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention November 15th at 7 p.m. in the Noble Ballroom, right now, Brandon?
Yes, at the Marriott Memphis East.
Yes.
Noble Ballroom.
Oh, yeah, that's where nobility.
Excuse me.
So just get ready for that. Yeah, because, you know, that's sort of a tradition, and it's our 10-year anniversary we've got to have.
Yeah.
I'll wear my semi-tattered jeans.
Yeah. But Kazuha, we've got to get updated. You've had a lot of action this year, right?
Yes.
So what is this Grammy business? Tell us about that.
Our newest album is for the first time officially on the ballot. You know.
That's huge. Just to be on the ballot.
Yeah.
So just
For
to
Grammys?
explain, explain, Joe.
Yeah.
On the ballot means that you don't quite have the nomination yet, but if enough ballot votes go your way, you become nominated for a Grammy. Just nominated. You're like one of 5.
Yeah, no
or
kidding.
one of 4. Or
Right.
it's a very low number of nominations. So just to be on the ballot, recognized that way, huge.
Oh, yeah.
Huge.
And we voted for you, Kazuha. All of us did. So.
As soon as we saw the link go up.
Yeah.
And then we shared it.
I tried to vote for you like 100 times, but it wouldn't let me. So. But
You got to rotate those IP addresses, Joe.
Joe, you're not a corpse in Mississippi. You can't pull that
Or
off.
a Russian robot. Hey, so Kazuha, when do we know? When are you going to find out about that?
November 20th.
Yeah, it's a couple weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to find out before the convention, but that's okay. Well,
do you want that? I mean, like, how big is that, like, for you? I mean, you come over here, like, with the aspirations of just being musical and all that other stuff, right? Which you were anyway. But you have this now like looming over your head, like you're like, whoa, I'm staring down the barrel of a Grammy.
Yeah, well, I never had the chance to even get close to Grammy before. I mean, like, I didn't know what to do.
Right.
And, after we came to US, we met, so many people.
Right.
And then I had a chance to sign
Well, our
up.
buddy Boo Mitchell, right?
Yeah. Boo Mitchell is actually the one who introduced me to the Grammys, and then
that's awesome.
Shout out to Boo, he's awesome.
Yeah, I finally signed up to Recording Academy. So
Good.
I didn't have any way before. I didn't have idea.
Well, Boo's got the Grammys under his belt now.
Yeah,
he wears them around his neck. That's how I met Boo Mitchell. He had him. I was at a school, and he happened to be at the school at the same time, and he was wearing it around his neck. I'm like, who's this guy? And
that sounds
want
like
to become
Mitchell.
instant friends with him. Yeah.
But at least getting close to Grammys was one of my goal.
Yeah.
As a musician, so I'm getting close to. What I've been wanting to do.
Now, your style of music obviously is more metal, is more in the rock genre. Okay, one of those pitfalls is the fact that rock as a whole genre just isn't played on radio stations. Okay, now you can go find it. iHeartRadio's got a plethora of rock stations, alt stations. I listen to the alt station all the time. On my iHeartRadio app. Has that door that's been open for you via the iHeartRadio app, has that changed your world in the sense that more people find you, more people discover you in that regard, or where are you getting discovered?
I think radio is helping somehow, but
that's a great answer because you're on radio.
Yeah, of course. But I think mainly major thing is internet. Social media.
Yeah.
And
Where do you find the most demographic coming from? Do you find it in the South? I mean, we're big rock heads down here, but do you find it in the South, or do you find it
No, that's head full of rocks, Brody.
Oh. Yeah. But no, we
But
do
you're
the
all
same
over
thing.
the United States traveling, right?
But I feel like South, but how do you call it around Birmingham area?
Oh, yeah, like Alabama,
South.
the deep South.
Yeah.
Deep South.
That's the South with the F.
I believe,
S-O-U-F.
South. Yeah.
South with an F. There you go.
I feel like
We're going to teach Kazuha a whole different slang term, and she's going to come out with it, and people are going to be like,
She's going to start her show.
Excuse me?
She's going to start her show. Howdy, y'all.
Yeah. Have you started saying y'all yet?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah.
But
Oh, brother.
I feel like that area is growing faster
Yeah.
than other states.
I've heard that before, from all of our other rock friends, Savage After Midnight, JT and those guys. They're like, dude, I don't know what it is about the South, man. We just live and breathe it because it is a blue collar genre of music, Andy can attest to it. Being a rock guy or a rock person, I should say, in the South, you just feel blue collar, it's a working
Well, it's
person.
good music to work to, too.
Right.
Hey, Kazuha, so what are the categories that you're up for?
Best rock performance and
There we go.
That's a big one.
Yeah, and the best rock album.
I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. So, well, we're pulling for you. I can't wait to find out what happens. So, but in the meantime, you've been also traveling because what is this new title? Music Export Memphis
Ambassador.
So, what is that organization? You're like a.
I think, I don't know how to explain it.
They're promoting music. Well,
so you go across the country.
Yeah, I have to go out of state normally. I mean, mainly.
Okay.
So my tour dates, 99% of my tour date was outside of state, all year round this year. And then I'll be doing that again.
Frequent flyer miles, baby. You got that on the line. Are you guys vanning it or are you flying it?
Of course, driving.
Yeah. Well, you see a lot of the country that way.
Yeah.
And a lot of the country that you kind of wish you didn't see.
Yeah. But I'm supposed to, talk about Memphis and represent the city.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's cool.
Cool.
That's awesome.
That's nothing to sneeze at. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
No,
I mean,
it's pretty
so.
awesome.
And okay.
And you get paid to do it. I mean,
they don't want us doing it.
I'd like a gig like that. So. Well, that's awesome. So so the new album is called Wonderland. No, the new Just never mind. The new album is called Kazha. It's self-titled.
Yeah, and the song that we're going to be playing as we head out is Wonderland.
Right.
We'll plug that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's going on these days, though? I mean, is that is just touring and grinding and doing
touring, and also next year will be our 10th anniversary. So
really,
well, it's already 10th right now, I guess.
Yeah.
But
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So she's 10, and the convention is 10 years old this year. Because this is our 10-year anniversary for the convention.
Oh, wow!
Wow, how harmonious! That's awesome. So, all right. So,
Joe, did you try to make a music pun there?
No, I just
No, but you did.
Is that even a pun?
That is you said harmonious.
I could do better than that.
That was the perfect dad pun. That was great.
No,
Okay.
don't try anymore.
That was wonderful. You did good.
All right. Well, hey, Kazuha, we're going to see you on November 15th at the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention at 7 o'clock. You can get your tickets at memphiscfc.com. And Brody, you're going to take us out with Wonderland, right?
Yeah, let's do this. The Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention is turning 10 and celebrating in a big way. We're starting Friday, November 15th, back in East Memphis at Memphis Marriott East. Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention 2019, November 15th through 17th. Check out the stars, Janelle Stevens from Black Panther and Luke Cage. Our Friday night concert, headlined by Kazha, cosplay contests, live cartoons, comic book artists, authors, and one-of-a-kind collectibles you can't find anywhere in the galaxy. Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention, November 15th through 17th at Memphis Marriott East. Get your 3-day passes or single-day tickets now at MCFC.com.
You might not find their picture in the dictionary, but they're the true definition of geek. Geek Tank Radio is on.
All right, more convention news, everybody. So we got our buddy Catherine Knowles here, who, even if you don't know her name, you know her work, right?
Yeah, he's, pretty much any art that is Geek Tank related or MCFC related, even things that we've altered, she's had a hand in creating.
Yeah, good to have you, Catherine.
Thanks for having me.
We talk about watching people's career with great interest. We've watched your career. I mean, I think we met you when you were like 14 years old or something. Isn't that right?
Something like that. It's at least been over 10 years now. So.
Yeah. We corrupted her. We brought her into the fold. And
I love that you feel that you corrupted her. Like she wasn't corrupted already.
It was.
We know her dad.
Probably already gone.
Oh yeah.
Praising Joe.
Yeah. Well, her dad, Tom Knowles, he's a fan. He's a buddy, and he's been. You guys have been involved with the convention really since almost, I think, second year you guys were in. So.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. But so you do all our artwork. You've done pretty much all of the artwork for our live cartoons as well. With
at least for the last couple of years, for sure. It's been really fun.
Yeah.
And even though we ended up skipping last year because everything was coming together late and our star was not going to be able to be there, and now our star's still not going to be there, so we're just replacing her.
Laura Johnson.
She is Moose Woman.
Right.
But with this endeavor, you didn't work on it on your own. You brought in your sister.
I did. My sister, she just turned 18. She has been doing art for as long as I can remember. Probably my fault. And yeah, she's really enjoyed it and is kind of interested in several paths as she's getting ready to go to college.
Right.
So she was looking into maybe some film, maybe some animation, something. So I thought this would be a good opportunity for her to get a little experience with some storyboarding and other stuff.
Yeah. I'm going to say this. I love what you guys did with Joe in this.
I don't.
You know, it's like
I look like a weirdo.
It's like
man.
if you no. If you
So they truly captured you.
Yeah.
If you've seen the Geek Tank artwork, you know Joe kind of comes off as this, you know, because his last name is Thorderson. He also he comes off as this, you know, proxy Thor, and you know he's wielding a giant microphone like a hammer. But then,
I like the physique you gave me too.
Right,
I mean,
yeah. So he's like this very imposing character.
Who wouldn't, Joe?
Yeah,
but then
I mean,
the one we've got here, because the live comic book takes place as an interview with Geek Tank. You guys made him actually look like him, just in that costume.
Gritty realism. Yeah, I wouldn't look good in that costume. That's for sure. Yeah.
But spandex is not a right.
But we don't want to give spoilers, Catherine. But this is Brandon's live cartoon. I had no hand in any of this.
Live comic book.
Live comic.
Because
I wrote the last 3.
The live
we did,
cartoon
but-
is your thing. I had to make it different.
Yeah. And so basically, though, this is the premise is pretty interesting. It's going to be here in Geek Tank Studios, and we're interviewing Moose Woman. Now, are we going to get in trouble from the feminists about this? Laura's the one that came up with Moose Woman. I don't know if that's a complimentary name. Well, I'm just saying, you know, she's the one that came up with it. So I'm
trying to figure out why you would think this is offensive. I mean, she is
Moose Woman.
She was bitten by a moose. From Chernobyl.
Yeah.
Spoilers, but you know.
So we're
That's the
interviewing
beginning of the
her,
story.
and things go wrong.
Doesn't matter.
It's the origin story. Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah,
dun.
but see, we always leave the design work to you, Catherine. So you were partnering with your sister. So what were those conversations like? Because you're trying to describe. That's what I'm trying to.
She's trying to describe our personalities to her. Oh boy.
Yeah.
I did kind of give her an initial run of like seeing how she would translate, you know, you guys. So I sent her some of the photos I used for the Geek Tank illustrations and was like, hey, draw these guys, just to see kind of how the style came through. Right. And some of those frames, you can tell it's a little more her style. I've kind of blended our two looks together a little bit. But yeah, she has a really cute, funny little approach to people. I think it's hilarious.
She's a great artist.
She's
You've
great.
taught her well.
Amazing cartoonist work in there. It was just the moment that I saw, like, you know, Joe and Wayne and then Alan, I was just like, oh, this is great. This is going to be great. That was just
awesome.
from your initial, you know, your initial, you know, sketches that you sent to test. It was like, oh man, this is going to look great. But there is one scene, which is the introduction of our main story villain, or her Moose Woman's villain, and I mean, I described it just slightly on the page, and you guys took it and just ran with it, and it blew me away.
Yeah, we don't want to give spoilers.
I'm not going to tell anybody about it, but when they
poster.
see that picture, it does deserve its own poster.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty awesome story. I got to give it to Brandon because it captures, I think, the mood of Geek Tank.
It's not like I don't got a book out there or something, you know.
Yeah. So we're going to do that. When is this live comic book performance?
Okay.
Brandon?
Saturday at 5:00, it will be partnered with the MCFC award ceremonies. So not only will we be getting some nice, you know, comic voiceover entertainment in the beginning, but we will also be going on and presenting awards that are also based on a character that Catherine has helped create for us. They will be if anybody has seen the picture of our badges yet, I know not a whole lot have, but it's the Tron pose with AD. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's just going to be a fun little thing where we're going to recognize some people who've been with us for 10 years.
Yeah.
And, you know, have gone above and beyond for us.
That have survived 10 years, yeah.
Yeah, who haven't beaten Joe with a bat yet.
Right, yeah. I mean, we made it 10 years. Yes. That's pretty cool. In some ways it feels like we just started. In other ways it feels like we've been doing this our whole life. But, you know, well, like on setup night, that's when it feels like, oh my gosh, is this ever going to end? But no.
Yeah, so is there anything new you're bringing to the booth this year?
Actually, yes. I have tried to get way ahead on stuff, and I have made a whole slew of hats. I'm actually introducing some jewelry. Mostly it's going to be sewn still. Okay. And, you know, just a bunch of little tiny trinkety type stuff for folks.
Okay, I'm sorry. with all that you're prepping there, how do you have time to do what you do for the U of M?
I just have to try and find a balance. I do work a regular day job during the day. Luckily, most of my after hours things have started to fall off. So I do, when I go home sometimes, I get to spend a couple hours working. But usually I just take my stuff to work with me and do it on my break.
You don't sleep, do you?
Oh,
yeah.
She had to stipulate, I do it on my break.
Yeah,
quote,
usually
unquote.
it's on my break.
Yeah, but Catherine, that's what we wanted to ask you, because you graduated last year, right? Your
Actually,
class of...
2 years now. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, 2017.
Yeah, she
was
like
a
it's been
2017
forever.
class. Okay, but you're still with the university, because you had a really interesting project, and it made news everywhere. Like I got
Yes.
links all over the place. So what happened with that?
Well, if you're talking about one of the more recent developments, that would be probably the Tigers court for basketball.
Right.
That was a big to-do. If there's a couple stories out there, I did over 100 designs for them, and eventually it got finally picked down. That's the one that he chose. And
Penny Hardaway.
Yeah. Yep,
because you
Coach.
work close with don't gloss over that. So. I didn't know you made 100 designs.
Yeah, we submitted like a 1-inch binder of designs to him. Each page had probably like 10 or so on.
Is
the
he high
page.
maintenance? I mean, my gosh, or is he just?
I have
he
actually
knows
only
what he
met
wants?
him once.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know him personally, but he is a pretty funny dude.
I was gonna say I have met Penny back when he was a student.
Mm-hmm. Really?
He was. Yeah, he was kind of.
I thought he was older than that. Okay. Yeah.
He's not that much older.
Okay. Wow.
But no, he was really, really cool when I did get to meet him. We did the photo shoot for the poster.
Yeah.
And just a lot of other stuff that's going on. Of course, the other sports, I do pretty much 95% of everything athletics related that goes out now.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So.
Yeah. But let's also step back for a minute and talk about the mural.
Yeah.
It's like, you do all these things that get a lot of stories, but watching the process when you were working on the mural through your Facebook page was fun.
Which building is that again? Was that the arts building?
Yeah, it's in the Communication and Fine Arts building. That was definitely a labor of love, year-long project that I thought was going to be quicker, and then I got a job about 1/3 of the way through, which is the job I'm at now.
Yeah.
And so my productivity rate went way down.
Right.
And I just had to kind of work on it on weekends, and sometimes when I could, I'd stay late after work. It was a whole process, but a very, very cool project to have completed, because now I can say I've done a mural, and like a multi-wall mural. It's pretty big.
Yeah, it's like everything leads to that that
one office. Yeah.
Yeah, but the good thing about Catherine, she's got the work ethic. She always finishes her stuff and she answers her phone, which is good. She's not
Joe.
She's not a drunk or high maintenance weirdo kind of artist that we've dealt with on other platforms and stuff. But but you got a well-rounded portfolio already. I mean, honestly, soon we're not going to be able to afford her anymore. I mean, but like the basketball court is interesting, because I'm wondering what that's like to make something where. Because for one thing, it's going to be stained. It's actually not paint, right? Or there's a little bit of paint, but
it's kind of both.
And it's big, and you're
Yeah.
trying to do this on a digital pad or something, and then
I had to do it on the computer first, and then when it finally got chosen, I actually got to see them making it in process. I've never seen people make a basketball court before, but it was very interesting how they have to put the stain down and all that. Really cool. But yeah, it's a stained and painted court. So pretty unique.
You're pretty humble, but wasn't that pretty exciting when you walked in and there's thousands of people looking at your artwork? I mean,
It was cool. I was there for the reveal, and I was in there when they were roaring, and it was just pretty awesome.
I think that's great, man. So, and we knew her when she was just a little snot-nosed 15-year-old, right? So I mean,
doing little doodles.
Wow, she gets a little older with every time you tell that story.
However old you were.
There's another hair.
When she was 18,
There's another gray hair.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Well, at least you have the hair to get gray. I mean, Joe, it's like.
Yeah, but yeah, it's great, man. It's fun watching Catherine's career develop. I'm glad you haven't turned into a prima donna on us yet. You're still fun to work with.
That takes
which
too
is
much
great
energy.
because which is great because I have to take her aside here in a minute and go, all right, so we need a little more artwork for Geek Tank and
yeah,
totally.
Yeah, because we're getting new Geek Tank artwork that will be revealed in the days ahead.
We don't have to tease this, Joe.
Yeah.
We've got 2 new correspondents who are on the show on a regular basis, and we need artwork for them.
Yeah,
and of course
yeah.
that's our buddy Andy Lockley and our crazy little child over there, Allie Diggs.
Yeah.
Who's surprisingly not asleep.
She's
in
off
the chair.
mic and hungover, but anyway. But yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. So you can meet Catherine.
Right.
So you can meet her at the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention, November 15th through 17th at the beautiful Memphis Marriott East, and you can get your tickets at memphiscfc.com. But Catherine, we love you. We appreciate all your work, and we're gonna, as we say, we're gonna continue to follow your career with great interest.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm excited for what the future holds. It's been wild already, so.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and speaking of wild rides, when we come back, we're going to recap Halloween.
Geek Tank Radio energized by
Dark Oak Press and Media, an indie publisher and media provider offering everything from Alice in Memphis to mystery to young adult and everything in between. Get the latest at darkoakpress.com.
More below and on 1019kissfm.com. Keyword Geek Tank. If you can nerd out to it, they're talking about it. This is Geek Tank Radio.
Oh, man. Everybody okay today? It is All Saints Day, as we now know it as.
I went to church last night.
Did you?
Yeah. You guys were out doing I don't know what.
We were
but-
gallivanting around.
Yeah.
Oh, you were at work?
Yeah, I worked.
I was giving out candy. I was trick-or-treating, baby.
I like how Joe is like, oh no, I don't know what kind of debauchery you monsters were into.
Yeah,
I went to church.
I'll hold my arm up. And go,
There you
yeah,
go.
all right. Debauchery, shenanigans. Yeah, we got this.
Poor Allie's hungover in the corner.
She's literally sitting on the floor of the
She's laying in
corner.
a ball.
Cat, what did you go as? Cat Knowles, a zookeeper. She had a whole bunch of puppet animals, I'm assuming. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Brody, did you dress up to give out candy?
No, I went as a radio DJ.
Well, that's
Yeah.
lame.
That's scary.
I had two. Wild,
Spider-Man?
crazy. Yeah, it's Spider-Man and Kion from the Lion Guard.
Oh,
That's right.
yeah.
He wasn't Simba. Everybody who's like, oh, cute Simba.
No.
My 1-year-old was Kion from the Lion
Yeah.
Guard.
Well, Brody, how did your kids handle the cold weather?
Dude, they
being
loved it.
Spider-Man. I mean, weren't they
Well,
cold?
Oh, they were all bundled up, man.
See, what's really awesome about the costumes these days, Joe, is they're not like paper thin anymore because they give them muscles.
Oh, good.
So it's
Yeah.
a lot of warm padding.
Okay, good.
Which, can we talk about the freezing last night?
We will. We'll get back to that.
Yeah, it was
because
cold.
it does.
It's cold outside. That explained it all.
Yeah. I saw this picture on. I saw this picture on Facebook this morning, and it's 2 kids bundled up in their winter gear, and they have ninja and ballerina taped onto
taped
their
on
shirt
them.
and
What they
their
are under
candy
it.
bags. Yeah. But that was kind of how it was. We had a lot of kids in costume and a lot of kids who were wearing coats, but you could still see the costume.
Yeah, the later it went, obviously, the more kids were bundled up, which is fine. We saw about 100 and so kids.
Gosh.
And, everybody was just great. I mean, we ran around for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and had a good time.
I had a slight issue.
Oh?
All right, so I decorate the yard.
I'm going to eat candy while you talk.
All right, go ahead. We decorate the yard every year. Amy puts out a graveyard. I put a hockey mask over the lamppost and everything else. Somebody stole my hockey mask yesterday.
I won one of your good ones.
Oh, well.
Because you make these
Yeah,
$200
well, they're all
ones.
Yeah,
so.
here's the thing about it. If you're going to rob from a serial killer, we tend to have extras.
Oh, there you
Just
go.
saying.
Well,
So,
you
of
don't
course,
forget either.
I had to run a flash drive out to Joe that had the Piranha Room playlist on it.
Yeah.
I was gone for maybe 20 minutes. I come back, the hockey mask is gone. But they were nice enough to leave the bungee cords
Oh, well, that is sweet.
that hold it to the lantern.
Yeah.
So I go into the back, I grab another hockey mask and come out, and I put some extra bungee cords on it. And then I put some obstacles in the way so they couldn't get to it. But yeah, guys, seriously.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Do you really think I didn't have an extra?
That's
well,
pretty.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm just wondering what necessitated such an emergency shopping trip for the hockey mask.
I don't know. I was waiting for the guy to come back and try and get candy so I could.
I was waiting you to rip it all, snatch it off his face, and
there was a lot of little hijinks going on in the neighborhoods, and also hijinks outside of the neighborhoods in the form of the Haunted Web of Horrors.
The Haunted Web of Horrors. Okay.
5 haunts, 1 location.
5 haunts, one location.
We've been at it for about a month and a half.
4 in one sequestering, 1 off by itself because it's all in 3D with black lights and laser shows.
Yeah. So and then you get the free hunt. So I mean, they claim 5. It's really like 6.
And that's not to count the fact that they have you set up so you've got snacks, you've got drink, you've got alcoholic beverages, and you've got creepy people who walk in and out of the line in costume, which is great if you've got someone who's been through one, drank a lot, and then they're waiting for the other, and they're a little tipsy, and then all of a sudden the
you're not really sure if you really got out.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it followed me.
Yeah. One of the great things is they kind of like took to the Disney trope of rides, where the line is part of the ride.
Yeah, it's definitely an experience just to be in the line.
Right. And so
and speaking of stealing Disney tropes, they even created the Fast Pass line.
Yes.
Oh, brother, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's $25 a person for all 5 haunts. But if you want to skip the line and get ahead of everybody, you pay $40 and you get the Fast Pass.
It is actually worth it. No, it's actually worth it.
It was genuinely a fun trip.
Yeah, so it gets better every year. They change most things every year, and they work on this all year round.
Right.
So even though you might be listening to us, and this weekend, if you are local,
lights out.
It's lights out. So they give you a glow stick,
and that's if you choose to take the glow stick.
Yeah,
so you can go through it completely
like
pitch
blind.
black.
Yeah, and you just feel your way through.
But these aren't like the haunted houses
hope
that
they
I
make you
grew
sign
up
a
with,
waiver
right?
for that.
These are pretty advanced productions, right?
Yeah.
I haven't been to them, but yeah.
What they boasted this year, though, which was interesting that I thought, is that they actually used fewer animatronics this year.
Yeah.
And went with more live actors this year, which was different because normally they had the same split but way more animatronics. So you really didn't know. You obviously went towards this thing is probably fake. Right?
And then somebody moves.
And then somebody actually got off the pedestal and you're like, whoa, wait a minute.
Here's the thing that got me. All right, they still have their big animatronics, like the ROUS, who comes out at you in the corn maze.
Right.
The giant ghost in Sector 23, which is supposed to be a hallucination because of the toxic gas fumes that you've gotten.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Sector 23 is a rave at Axis Chemicals. I mean, it's you might. I mean, there's vats of green liquid.
Yeah.
There's mist. There's clowns dancing everywhere. It's freaky.
Yeah, and you get into it's like a club, right?
Yeah.
When you first walk in, and there's like people dancing, obviously, and then all of a sudden, like Chainsaw Man.
But no, I think the one that really
I thought that part was really funny, and I'm sorry for laughing. In the group that I was in, we went through with like 15 of us on Media Day, and I laughed. And I know that was the wrong response.
No,
I thought it was hilarious, and like everybody afterwards was like, "Dude, what is wrong with you?"
So you laughed during the Joker movie too, right?
Well,
you were there.
a little bit. Yeah.
Here's the thing: as I'm actually there with the general public. I missed Media Day, so I'm there, and I've got my friend Brian with me. Who anybody who knows Brian knows he's kind of geeky. He's he's really geeky. He's kind of awkward, but he's having a blast.
Yeah.
This is not something you expect him to be excited about. But we're in Sector 23, and he's just dancing to the music. He's having a good time.
Yeah.
This clown dude, he stops me for a minute and gets between us and is dancing, mirroring Brian perfectly behind him. Brian never realizes he's there. And then he just ducks out on the other side. The rest of us in the back of the group are just rolling.
Rolling.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, the actors that they got, props to everybody who was involved because
guys,
they were fantastic.
You did an awesome job, except for that creepy doll lady.
La Lorena?
You go into that one room and there's all the dolls.
Yeah.
And there's an animatronic doll.
Oh, that one, yeah.
There's a giant animatronic doll. And then you go around a corner and you see another giant animatronic doll that is not.
Right.
It's someone in the suit.
Right.
And
but she's really small.
No, it's a giant doll. But she creeps. She's creepy.
Well, it's a giant for a doll.
She's moving like the animatronic one.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she starts following you.
Yeah. Yeah,
how long does it take to get through one of these?
It's about 15 minutes to get through the Sector 23, and it's about 30 minutes to get through the rest of it.
The thing is
all for $40.
If you
25 because
25.
I stand in the line because that's part of the fun.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
See, that's what I kept telling everybody. I was like, don't buy the fast pass because you're going to miss everything that goes on in the line.
Hold on. We want you to buy the Fast Pass because we want our friends at the Haunted Web to continue to
Right.
improve their haunt.
Buy the Fast Pass, but hang back a little bit. You know, that way you can experience everything that's going on. Now, they do it every year.
A big party.
It is. It is. Yeah,
That's what it sounds like.
they do this every year. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger every year. This year, congrats to Eli. And everybody who was involved with this year because they changed the whole facade.
Yeah.
Okay. It's all inside, right, Joe?
Right.
It's in the old
smart enough to know.
It's in the old Toys R Us out by where the Mall of Memphis used to be.
Which might be haunted anyway.
And that's a big. Space. You know.
Yeah.
Oh,
and they keep expanding it and expanding it and expanding it. Every year it gets bigger and bigger and better because they keep changing it. And then the other thing that they're adding this year is the creepy holiday tour.
Well, they introduced the Christmas haunt last year,
right?
And this year
it was okay.
That was testing the waters,
right?
But apparently they've doubled the size this year.
It is massive.
It's going to be massive.
Christmas haunt sounds interesting.
I mean, hey,
like Charles Dickens.
Jeremy,
stuff?
Eli, all you guys. Geek Tank wants to go through the Christmas haunt.
Yeah, I mean, I'll get him in. I'll get Jennifer and everybody.
But, Andy doesn't.
Oh,
these are like demented elves. It's so much fun.
It's adorable.
Is there any other
so this
kind?
is Seth MacFarlane Christmas, basically.
I don't do haunted houses, guys.
Okay.
I can't get you to get over
Jump
the cemeteries
scares.
either.
Yeah, because it is very jump scary.
Or storms.
Cemeteries don't bother me. And storms don't bother me as much as they used to. Like when the tornado hit a couple weeks ago, I literally slept through the whole thing.
Well,
I did too.
But if you've been out and there'd been 2 strikes of lightning,
that's different.
Yeah,
really. But yeah, haunted houses and jump scares are not. I don't know.
All right, here's how blasé I am with these things. Used to be on the film crew.
Yeah.
Doing like the Travel Channel stuff. So I went through haunted attractions all over the country, walking backwards, carrying the cameras.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was like
you kept your hand steady.
Hold on. Now that Alan has his new leg,
oh yeah,
Alan needs to go to McKierney Manor.
Yeah.
He might be able to win the 20.
The 20 grand. Yeah.
So
by the
20
way,
grand. Wait a minute.
we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it off air. All right.
There's one guy.
That is a group that I don't mind advertising for, but they're gonna pay me.
Yeah. Now, McKierney Manor, there's some connection that Jennifer has. Jennifer, who obviously owns the Haunted Web of Horrors, there's some connection over there with them, and I'm sure it's a tight knit community anyway.
Yeah.
But they actually talk regularly, and there's actually a couple scenes I think from McKierney Manor that are here at the Haunted Web. So
none of the crazy torture.
No.
Stuff, but
there's no touching at the Haunted Web. But
if anybody was getting worried,
no, there's no touching. You don't have to sign a waiver in the sense that people are going to torture you. But the other great thing about Haunted Web is that there is portions of it that go to a worthy cause,
right?
And that's the other cool part too. Yeah. It's returning back to the community. If you have a chance, it is voted one of the best in the country. It was voted one of the top 10 in the country. It's obviously number 1 in Tennessee, number 1 in Memphis, in this area in the Mid-South, and then it is just a destination.
Yeah,
Yeah, Nashville. So up yours.
I will say
Joe
this.
starts the fight.
No, he's not wrong. I went to
wrong.
Nashville and I went to quote unquote the best in Nashville.
Yeah.
I was bored out of my.
There you go.
It's been about 10 years since I've been to Nashville for Halloween.
Yeah.
But if I remember correctly, their best haunted house was like going through a JC's.
Yeah, it was
it's
so
like,
bad.
Yeah.
There was like a dude dressed like Freddy Krueger, and it's like
I've been more scared at Spirit Halloween.
Right.
Well, that's because
It is kind of scary.
Spirit Halloween likes to
all the money you drop.
grow up in the corpse of our childhood. So,
Right. Yeah. Right. I don't know. Yeah. So if you're looking for a good one in the Mid-South, if you are a fan of the scare haunted houses and ones that are like family friendly,
right?
Because it is to a certain degree. I wouldn't bring my children.
Yeah.
Small children, no.
But there were small children that were going through it, by the way.
Yeah.
By the way.
By the way,
there's some tough kids out there.
There was an 8-year-old Ninja Turtle with us.
There were some parents who
he was
like
having a blast.
Enjoy those nightmares.
You'll be paying for therapy for a while.
For a long time. But yeah, it is family friendly.
But real quick, before we finish up with the Haunted Web, what was your favorite spot?
I always and forever will be the house.
The Hillbilly Hideaway?
Yes. I love the house. And let me tell you why I love the house. Because it is so intricate. Alan, you brought up like movie sets and stuff like that. This one, and they've changed it.
Yeah.
Okay, it is not the same house. I love the old house, and I told Jeremy that. I was like, "Don't change the house. Whatever you do, it's so intricately done."
And then he was like, "I'm going to change the house."
And then
Brody said something.
Yeah, and then he's like, "But you know the house. You
Therefore,
know
we
it.
have to change it.
We had to change it." And I was like, "No, don't touch it." I told him while we were going through it on media day. I was like, "Why did you change the house?" And he's like, "Because you knew the house."
Yeah. My favorite part, and I missed last year. I didn't get out last year. I wasn't feeling great, but I've been going to Haunted Web since it was over in Trinity Commons at the old Malco.
Yeah, we've been doing it and I've been with him every year.
Yeah,
so.
And so getting into this one and seeing the swamp.
Oh, that was great too, right?
Because it's just
If you think this year was good though, the crazy mind that is Jeremy.
Yeah.
It has something in store. We were talking about how, the weird stuff that he's getting into. And next year, the swamp is practically gone, but it's upgraded.
Right.
And same thing with the house. And what he's talking about doing, it will put everything on its butt.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah.
So they're upping their game every year.
Every year. So props to the Haunted Web. We'll get Jennifer and everybody in earlier next year so we can talk to her about what's going on.
And we should look into, getting somebody in, before the Christmas holiday.
Yeah, we could do that. I talk to them all the time. So, but props to Jennifer and the Haunted Web. Really, really great over there.
I had an amazing time, guys.
Yeah, it is definitely worth it. Put it on the travel list for next year and even for the holiday stuff.
We've talked about them.
We've played them.
And now we'll show you.
The all-new Twitch channel from Geek Tank Radio is here.
Go Ready Player Geek.
Where we unpack and dive into single-player story-driven games, to fighters, to multiplayer shooters, to tabletop and card games, and everything in between.
And stay up to date with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Ready Player Geek.
Check us out now at twitch.tv/ReadyPlayerGeek.
Streaming every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday night at 8 Central.
That euphoric feeling when you found just the right binge? Let the Geek Patrol be your stream dealer as they help you find your net fix.
It was so good it had no business being that good.
So when I used it in Netflix last week, you're like, hey, I'll give that a shot.
Well, I had already kind of dove in, I guess dipped my toe in that water that was Daybreak.
So you watched the trailer 4 times.
Yeah. And I was like, gosh, I don't know. And then, you brought it up in Netflix, and I was like, all right, I'll do it. And then, boy.
But let's be honest. When you went in there because of, my history of, sometimes giving you, false hope.
No, I dove into the shallow end, expecting to break my neck. But it was, so good. Yes. It has no business being this good. No. We're talking about Daybreak. It is on Netflix, and it's a season, Joe. You can, binge the mess out of this.
Yeah, it's 10 episodes.
It's Netflix.
Netflix.
And so, okay. Because tell me the tagline you gave, because this is what got me.
Post-apocalyptic Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, you had me at Ferris Bueller. Okay, yeah. I mean, is anybody not like that movie?
Don't think so. And, in the fact that, Ferris Bueller's in it.
Yeah. Matthew Broderick plays the principal.
And I'm not going to give too much away here. You know what? I don't care. I'm giving it away.
Give me a little, but don't spoil the whole.
You love him in the beginning and then loathe him about 2 episodes in.
So Ferris Bueller.
So he's got an arc.
Well, yeah. I mean,
they all do.
Well, see, and here's the thing: is that the baseline is that Josh Wheeler,
aka just Josh,
is trying to find Sam Dean.
AKA girlfriend, sort of.
Yeah. After the bombs have dropped, adults have turned into these things called ghoulies.
Right.
And they do. They are attracted to blood. They rip you apart. They eat you. But
they're zombies, but
they don't infect you. So you're not going to get up and be a zombie after they've bitten you. If you get a bite and escape, you're fine.
So the kids are the only functional
teenagers.
It's like Charlie Brown,
right?
Teenagers.
And the thing is they separate across the city. And across, the countries as well.
Right.
But they break into their cliques.
Right.
Like you've got the jocks. Mm-hmm. And you've got your
nerds, your 4-H kids.
There's the 4-H clan.
Right.
Which they've all adopted Hobbit-type names.
Yes.
Those would be the ones to follow. They can grow food for
Well, they are. And they are sought after.
You got the super smart kids. They're called the STEM punks. You've got the disciples of Kardashian.
Yes. Who are they after?
They're your influencer types. They're always on
Who are
Instagram.
they influencing in the apocalypse?
Well, it doesn't matter. It's all about their Instagram stories and Snapchat and all this stuff.
So the teenagers have maintained a civilization with
it's a fictional
social
story.
media.
It's a fictional
That's
story.
pretty good.
It's also only been 6 months, so infrastructure hasn't completely collapsed.
Right, the satellite's still up. So
okay.
yeah. So I mean,
because they
necessities
use their
going.
phones all the time. But the jocks have an amazing way of text messaging.
Yes.
With pyrotechnic flares.
Yeah, and it's so cool. You know what? I wanted the smiley face, bomb, I guess, flare.
Oh, the flare for the jocks symbol, which is a smiley face, but the eyes are a barbell.
Right.
Wow,
It's
this
so
sounds
good,
pretty
guys.
awesome.
But no, it's
is it satire, obviously.
Oh yeah, all right. So
well, I'm just saying.
I saw a lot of bad reviews about it. It's like people who got a few minutes into it and quit. It's like, oh, propaganda, identity politics. It shows how we've gone to such extremes that we are basically a satire of ourselves.
Yeah,
it holds a mirror up to us.
That is one thing that I will say this definitely deserve props for, because it is so ridiculous. Some of the when they're in the mall and stuff like that. Some of it's so ridiculous. You're like, no way, but we don't act like that. But the truth is, we do.
Yeah. When Josh goes to describe Angelica in the first episode, and he goes, why did it have to be Angelica? She is such a little. I'm not going to use a bad word to describe a young woman.
Yeah.
I'm part of the solution.
Right.
Oh,
yeah. Well, and that's the other thing too. When Fists,
Wesley
Fisk, which they all have great names, by the way.
Yeah.
They all have great names.
Turbo Brojock.
Turbo Brojock is like the big bad, or so we think. And then
Baron Triumph.
Baron Triumph.
Oh my gosh, that's a name. Yeah.
And then, even Josh Wheeler, he rides around on
a skateboard. Which he has straps on the bottom of it so he can use it as a shield.
It's so great.
Oh my gosh!
There's a scene early on where he's in a pawn shop and he finds a sword, and he starts talking about every great sword has a name. I learned that from movies.
Right.
And he starts talking to this
Excalibur,
Needle. It's going through this, and he goes, "I will name mine Sam."
I don't want too many spoilers.
No, our spoilers. We're going to keep our spoilers to the first 2 episodes.
Well, but are they fighting the parents now? Like, what do they do?
The ghoulies are. They are very aggressive. They will attack you.
Yeah, they help move the story forward, but they are not the story. It's like The Walking Dead. It's what The Walking Dead turned into. Where the walkers
it's what it always was in the comics. It's the story of people surviving in this apocalypse.
Right.
But what's great about the parents, the adults, is that they're not completely brain dead.
No.
They are functioning to the point where the last thought that they had prior to the bombs going off and the infection hitting, they are... so it's like you've got people going, you know what, I think I'll just delete my Facebook page. And that's all that person says over and over again. There's a woman outside the mall who's, there's a yoga pants sale. Buy 2...
yeah.
Lululemon, buy 2 get 1 free. It's like, and she just keeps saying it over and over again. There's a guy.
She just wanted yoga pants.
No, what was it? Is it LaCroix or LaCroix?
Oh gosh,
it's so good. Oh, why do they only keep making superhero movies?
Yeah, why do they only keep making superhero movies? These are guys outside the mall.
I didn't know Andy was in this movie.
Yeah, well, he would be one of these brain dead, and I think like that because here's the bottom line. Not all adults, and this is kind of a spoiler, not all adults turned.
I have a theory behind that, and I will talk with you about that off the air because I don't want to give that spoiler to Joe.
Wait, is this a week-to-week release? Or
they dropped it all at once. You can binge it. It's 10 episodes.
Yeah, this sounds great.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah.
And what's really awesome, Joe, is that I told you it's Ferris Bueller in the Apocalypse. The first 2 episodes are definitely that.
Ferris Bueller.
But that's because we're focusing on Josh.
Right. The next episodes, and when you...
No, Josh is Colin Ford. He played Little Sam Winchester in the early seasons of Supernatural and flashbacks.
Oh.
But Matthew Broderick is Professor Michael Xavier Burr.
But he didn't turn into one of these creep guys?
Well,
yeah.
Well, don't tell me. Yeah.
So in any event, but each character has like an expose, sequence episode where we meet Wesley Fisk and we get his backstory and we get to know Wesley and how his love interest is who we think is the bad guy, the big bad.
So I mean, and but the thing is
Which,
everybody.
by the way, props to them for making that love interest something that like we cared about, and it didn't feel forced.
No, it didn't feel forced at all.
Like I was like, by the way, they're jocks. Wesley Fisk was a jock.
He was a
defensive back.
Yeah, and
good at
and
it.
Turbo was the quarterback. So I mean, it's just it's
great.
It's really cool. I mean, let's talk about Sam Dean for a minute.
Sam Dean is everybody likes Sam Dean.
Everybody loves Sam.
She's not a prep. She's not a jock. She's not any
She's
one
Ferris
thing.
Bueller.
Well, no,
because everybody liked him.
Well,
right?
no, she is what Principal Burr refers to her as his human sorting hat. She helps new people at the school find their group.
Right.
And the one person that she gets who can't find a group, who
Josh.
actually is our Ferris Bueller in the first couple episodes,
Right.
is Josh.
Right.
And it's not that Josh, is Ferris so much as he's the anti-Ferris. He doesn't fit in with anybody.
Right.
And that's why Sam likes him.
Right. Because she doesn't really fit in with anybody.
Because,
so, they're loners, but they are the lovable loner that everybody loves.
And Sam is like the most perfect positive person ever of all time.
She did this video with Josh, okay, or Josh filmed it, I should say, and where she went around the mall and basically
met up with students,
everybody in the school.
Yeah, she says she's going to save the world,
and then she gives them a compliment.
Yeah.
Okay, and the whole video is super sweet.
It's so cute.
It's like she walks up to this girl who. It's you've seen her in the school and she's not a popular girl.
No.
But she walks up to her and she's like, Jessica, I love your taste in music. Your Spotify playlist, make my day. And you get this genuine smile,
And
then
she genuinely breaks out. She's like, "Thank you!"
and
wow.
there's this guy who's just he looks depressed and everything. She just walks up to him and she goes, your memes are social currency, and she gets him smiling.
And that
There you go.
can tell she literally is saving these kids. She is saving the world because that is their world.
I love the messaging in here because honestly, it's like the
You'll love some of it.
because
You'll hate some of it.
Well, I mean,
Mainly
and
when
here's the
adults
thing.
start
I like
eating
when they
children.
break down the clicky
So
stuff.
I was
though.
but I was actually looking at it and I was thinking about where everybody would fit.
Oh, where we would
Oh,
fit?
so
Well,
we
first
get
of all-
sorted.
First of all,
We know where
Alan's
Alan
a
is
STEM
going.
punk.
Yeah. Alan to be behind the control board.
Joe would we'd lose
4-H.
Well, no, we would
I'm
lose
not good at
Joe
that.
really early on.
Yeah.
Because Turbo would put him on American Ninja Idol.
Yes.
Really?
He would die by the hands
Yeah,
of
sadly,
Turbo
yeah.
Joe Brock.
Okay.
Andy would be on the golf team.
Oh my God. So the golf team, by the way, I love the golf team.
The golf team's amazing, but
every death they have,
their job,
I laugh.
Their job is to take care of the stragglers.
Yeah.
They're on the outskirts, and people who are trying to get into jock territory, they're there to take them out.
They're the gatekeepers.
Well, yeah, they ride around on a golf cart that's all armor plated. They've taken their golf clubs and turned them into weapons by welding blades and stuff onto the end of them.
Yeah.
The only problem
weaponized golf.
The only
clubs.
problem
That
we would
sounds
have
good.
with Andy actually being part of the golf team is he doesn't fit the rhyme.
Yeah, they all have
Terry, Larry, Barry, Gary, and
Andy would fit.
Well, no, because there's no R. Remember,
It's a re at the end.
Larry tried to say that about Wesley, and, and they
Call him
said no.
Randy. Andy, your new apocalypse name is Randy.
No, it has to be an R towards the Y's.
I just realized that after
That's also
I
his
said
dad's
it.
name.
Yeah.
Allie would totally be a disciple of Kardashian.
Yes.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, the influencer. But I you know what?
But the thing is
my favorite.
I was
clip,
looking at him. The thing is, we'd be daybreakers.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you'd be a gamer.
I would be one. No, I don't know.
Andy
They would be a gamer. Andy would be a gamer.
No, not with the way how Andy's great at gaming, but
Why wouldn't he be a gamer?
Because he's nowhere near that crazy hardcore.
Oh, that's true though.
Okay.
That's true.
These guys are sick hardcore gamers. I mean, they never take the virtual goggles off.
Yeah. No,
and they
don't.
think that they can translate their gaming skill into actual infiltration of a physical location.
And they get totally pwned.
Andy's smarter than that.
Okay.
The one thing though, the one click that I actually kind of really loved were the Cheermazons.
The Cheermazons are amazing.
The Cheermazons are cheerleaders, but But they are so forward thinking, and you know why I loved them so much is because I've had many interactions with dance, the Rebelettes down at Ole Miss, even the cheerleaders throughout my schooling and stuff like that, and at the base core of it all, listen, I had nerd friends, but I also had jock friends and everything like that, and we're all the same. That's what's so funny to me, and this show blows that up and puts a giant spotlight on the fact that at the core of it all the same. Everybody is equally nerdy and goofy and dorky and at some point slutty, the same.
Isn't that kind of the message in Breakfast Club? I mean, that was
sort of.
Well, so this sounds very 80s type.
It is. It's got very, seriously 80s.
There's a Degrassi scene.
When Angelica's telling her story, she goes full on, Goodfellas voiceover.
Yep.
Wesley's story is told by the RZA. Man, and it's
great.
Full on.
It's
old
Wu-Tang.
school.
Yeah.
It's Sunday Kung Fu Theater.
And shout out to RZA, which I was not expecting. A Wu-Tang founding Wu-Tang member to give him the narration treatment, but fantastic.
Did an amazing job.
RZA, do more.
Yes. Yeah.
Are they going to have more seasons?
They leave it where it definitely needs
they have to, right?
Where it leaves off. It's kind of if they wrapped it up, I wouldn't be I wouldn't be upset that we didn't get this any more story. But there's dangling plot lines that need to be taken care of.
There's so many plot holes holes.
No, that's one thing that they did really good about this.
Yeah,
there's no holes.
What I meant was open ended, so they could continue it on. But there's so many shows that get the season 2 treatment on Netflix that do not deserve it.
Right.
This was the one that definitely deserves it.
But do it right, because not all season 2s work on it.
Well, shout out to the writers.
It's based on a graphic novel series.
Oh, good.
It's so good. I really do want to give props. Daybreak is one of those. Obviously, in the month of October, dealing with zombies is perfect. Dealing with a post-apocalyptic thing,
it's so much fun.
But let me tell you, it does what Walking Dead wanted to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it right.
Yeah.
Can't wait, man.
Geek Tank Radio, energized by
Dark Oak Press and Media, an indie publisher and media provider offering everything from Alice in Memphis to mystery to young adult and everything in between. Get the latest at darkoakpress.com.
More below and on 1019kissfm.com. Keyword Geek Tank. While you're looking up at the stars, we've got them in the tank. Right here. Geek Tank Radio is on.
Hey, Felicia.
Hi, how are you?
Great, how are you?
I'm really wonderful. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, well, a fellow Southerner.
It is true. I was born in Huntsville, Alabama. I lived in Biloxi, Mississippi. I lived in Louisville and all sorts of places in the South. My dad was in the military, so I'm an Air Force brat, and I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, that Biloxi, that's the South. That's with the F.
That is the Southest you can get, I think.
Well, she definitely needs no introduction. You know her from the recurring roles on her CW show, Supernatural. I call it your show, Felicia. I'm just going to let you know. You also have the sci-fi series, The Magicians. You've been on Eureka. The plethora of on film or the in front of the camera stuff, but you also have a lot of work behind the camera. We've got a lot to talk about, including the book. Let's dive right in.
Absolutely, I'd love to.
Let's start with this, because here in the Geek Tank, we obviously know you best, I guess, from the Mystery Science Theater 3000, or I guess that's our most fanning over part. And we have a lot of questions about that whole deal. Let's start with this. Did it feel as awkward or disturbing, the whole being forced to marry Jonah arc?
I have to say that I thought it was supposed to be awkward and disturbing, and I think we nailed it.
Yeah, nailed it on the head. Speaking of nailed it, now you're no stranger to the sing-alongs. Obviously, Dr. Horrible sing-along blog, Josh Wheaton, that musical, but the brilliance that was the Every Country Has a Monster. How many takes does that do? That just doesn't happen, you know?
No. Every so often in your life, you'll hear something and you'll be like, oh, it's going to be a hit. It's so brilliant. And, I'm blessed to have been in many projects like that. I think the MST3K soundtrack is incredible.
Right.
Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog. I've done my own music videos online. And, the biggest one is the one that I was like, oh, it's a hit. The other ones were great, but I knew that there's something special about a song, you could tell. And I'm so blessed to have been involved, even tangentially, with a lot of those.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so you brought up the online stuff. You're obviously a Twitcher. You're a YouTuber. But that being said, does that make you a gamer?
I feel like I'm a gamer first and foremost. YouTube and Twitch are just platforms where I shared my passion.
Right.
I created a show called The Guild that is about a girl who was addicted to video games. That's really what made my career in a big way.
Yeah.
By making videos online. And early in web video, I also had a company called Geek and Sundry, and we specialized in doing things about tabletop games and video games and RPGs and things like that. So I just have when I have a passion, I want to share it, and those are the best ways to do it because mainstream TV doesn't really think that stuff is worth acknowledging.
Yeah,
and that's fine too.
And we acknowledge it here on the Geek Tank. That's all. I want to put a pin in the comics and stuff like that, and getting back to the tabletop games. But your voice acting in Fallout New Vegas, arguably the best of the Fallout series. Is that like a drug? I've heard many of things, and you have many of voice acting credits with My Little Pony, and the list goes on and on. Star Wars, you were on voice acting credit there. Is that a drug in itself?
I mean, just working a lot. I mean, I love voice acting. It's where you don't have to do your hair at work. I love it.
Right.
And you get to be kind of different characters. I've played a little tiny alien. I've played a pony.
Yeah.
I've played all sorts of different kind of characters, and I do other voices, within those. So, the playfulness of voiceover really has helped me open up my world in a more playful way as far as acting goes. And, I love it. I love everything I do, writing, acting, and producing as well. I like being in front of and behind the camera. But voiceover is really one of it doesn't feel like work, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why I've been in radio, I guess, for so long. Anyway, the book, okay, Embrace Your Weird. I want to talk about the discovering your hero self part, okay? And you brought up tabletop games. So could you, I guess, equate that to, like, forming a character in, like, Dungeons & Dragons or something like that?
I have to say that if you are nerdy, you will get another layer in this book. The book is called Embrace Your Weird, Face Your Fears, and Unleash Creativity. And at the heart of it, it's a funny self-help book that is interactive with places for you to fill out and draw all over the book. But underneath, it is a journey of an RPG. You build your character, you figure out who your enemies are, and kind of weapon up against them, and then you learn how to train it up and get some allies in your party, and then you go on a quest. So yes, the spine of the book is very nerdy, but I buried it enough so that non-nerds will enjoy the book as well.
Yeah, it's a very well-rounded from even the reviews, that just came spilling in. You got the LA Times, Boing Boing, Bustle, and, like, all these people are just like, fawning over this book, and it really is good. It is a must-read. Perfect timing for the holidays right around the corner. Embrace Your Weird. Felicia Day is in the tank, and I guess last but not least, I have to talk about did you, because it doesn't feel like you did, have a problem with procrastination? I know that's one of, like, the zero in factors of the book, but there's no way you have a problem with procrastination, right?
Oh, no. I am a terrible procrastinator. I have something I need to write, and it's been 2 weeks since I have picked up a pen, and I've been very busy at the same time, so I give myself a little excuse. But, today is the day where I'm like, okay, you really need to get this done, and I need to channel a little bit of my own advice in that. I think we all struggle.
Yeah.
The world is very busy.
Yeah.
There's lots that can interfere, and unless we really have ourselves as a priority and our creativity as a priority, it's easy to put that on the back burner in favor of what other people need from us. And I guess the core of the book is that we deserve ourselves. We deserve our attention.
Right.
We deserve our time. And creating is a form of self-care. Even if you just make something and throw it out at the end, that time with yourself, getting to know yourself, allowing yourself to express yourself in whatever it is you want to do, whether it's writing or painting or knitting or whatever, cooking, that really means a lot to ourselves, and we're investing in ourselves. So I guess the one of the ultimate messages of the book is that don't let yourself go like that.
Yeah.
And procrastination is kind of, one of those things that pops up. And, the bulk of the book really is how to get some tools that when these things spring up, which they will, no matter how experienced you are, how do you beat them back and just get on the road again?
That's brilliant. Felicia Day, of course, speaking of procrastination, it's a little easier to do with your CW show, Supernatural. You can just binge the mess out of that one. We look forward to watching more of you on Supernatural. Of course, the sci-fi series Magicians and all the other good stuff that you're in front of the camera, but also then, kind of falling into your comics, the Dark Horse comics and your book, your new book out, Embrace Your Weird. Boy, it's just so fun to watch your career.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I have a lot of good things on the burner for 2020, so hopefully if you follow me at Felicia Day anywhere, you can check it out.
Hey, what's this new podcast?
Well, I have a podcast called Voyage to the Stars. It's an improvised sci-fi podcast.
Yeah.
It stars me and Colton Dunn from Superstore and Janet Varney from Legend of Korra and Steve Berg and Kristen Vangsness from Criminal Minds. So lots of familiar voices with lots of guest stars, like from The Office and things like that.
Oh.
And it's free wherever you get a podcast. So if you want to laugh at some people going through space kind of destroying planets accidentally, come on over.
That's awesome. Well, you can listen to that one after you get done listening to our podcast, Geek Tank Radio.
Exactly.
Felicia, thank you so much for joining us in the tank. You are just fantastic. Can't wait to watch you and more and reading this book up.
Thank you so much.
Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
We've talked about them.
We've played them.
And now we'll show you.
The all-new Twitch channel from Geek Tank Radio is here.
Ready Player Geek.
Where we unpack and dive into single-player, story-driven games, to fighters, to multiplayer shooters, to tabletop and card games, and everything in between.
And stay up to date with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Ready Player Geek.
Check us out now at twitch.tv/ReadyPlayerGeek.
Streaming every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday night at 8 Central.
There's always those stories that defy labels. Thankfully, there's the GTR Random Roundup.
Indiana, Idaho.
Calm down. Oh, it's time for randoms, and I mean, as random as you're being with your Animaniac stuff, Spielberg's a suing mother.
It's time for Randomaniacs.
Oh, very good, yeah.
So,
I think Brody's on the mark, though. We're going all over the country.
Yeah, we're going all over the country
officially
today, and we are going to start with...
As Ed Sheeran says, LA.
LA, baby. A drug dealer got busted after calling 911 to report 150 pounds of cocaine stolen.
You stole my crack!
You want his half back, you know?
Wow. He called them. He said members of a rival gang had just threatened him with guns and stole over 150 pounds of his cocaine. But it's okay because he still has 2 pounds in the freezer that they didn't get.
We made sure to tell him that, too.
Yes.
This reminds me
Is this guy using his product at the time? Or
He said he's a new member in his gang and will get in trouble if they don't help him find all this cocaine again. I don't think the cops are going to help you.
Gosh.
Stay in your gang.
I think someone's getting shanked in prison.
Don't those gangs give you a training brochure?
By two different
Training
gangs.
brochure.
Of what not to do?
Welcome to the gang. In this game.
Wait.
Yeah.
Welcome to the game. In this game, rule 1,
Yeah.
don't call the cops.
Right.
Rule 2, don't lose our coke.
Don't lose all of our cocaine.
Gosh.
It's easy.
It probably didn't end well.
All right, well, let's hop on the plane and head to Montana.
Okay, so the story is relatively, I don't want to say old, but the sentencing for this
I always love when we come back to something.
Just came down yesterday.
Right.
So a 20-year-old woman broke into her ex's house and forced him to have sex with her while holding a machete to his throat. Gets 20 years in state custody to be served in a mental health facility.
Well, shocking.
Wow.
I can't say that we're
So-
surprised.
I don't know how to joke about any of this.
So, no,
I think the article is the joke.
Yeah, I mean, punchline served.
so here's the weird bit.
Wait. Now we get the weird bit?
Yeah, now you get the weird bit. So let's see. It's Montana was sentenced to 20 years in state custody over the June 2018 incident incident, which happened at the victim's home in Great Falls, Montana. Broke into the house and held a machete up to his neck, and then forced him to have sex with her. And then, for whatever reason, tore down a whole bunch of his crown molding in his house.
Gosh. Yeah, that episode of Property Brothers really hit him.
I feel like he just wanted to redo the crown molding, and it's like, this Mr. House Insurance people, she came in and she took down that crown molding. I don't know why.
See, Alan and I know the true reason on this. That's where the drugs were hidden. Because crown molding has a little gap behind it. So, Alan, am I right? That's where whatever stash they had was in the crown
I
molding.
remember when this case actually hit because there was a big discussion on whether or not it was rape or not.
Yeah.
Because in Montana, it is not considered unless penetration.
Right. That's why the article says forced him to have sex with her.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Am I the only one uncomfortable right now? I don't know how to joke about any of this.
The justice system.
We are just squirming away. Well, speaking of squirmy wormies, let's head to Colorado, where a hunter claims he was sexually assaulted by a Sasquatch.
Well.
All right, so out.
Hey, you know what they say about the size of your feet?
Hey, you got big shoes. Anyway, speaking of big shoes, this Colorado hunter, he strapped on his big shoes, and they had a bit of a snowstorm recently. A lot of snow came down. So this 57-year-old man, I'm gonna leave his, I'll just call him Daryl, was walking to his hunting cabin to see if they had, he had suffered any damage.
You can't pronounce his last name, can you?
It's yes, I can, and it's a famous actor's last name, but no relation. Yeah. But anyway, all of a sudden though, well, yes, I can. It's you almost got me. But while he was walking to the cabin, a very large gorilla-like creature dropped down from the tree and assaulted him. Okay. He's convinced that the creature who attacked him was Sasquatch, but the police department investigators say it was probably more like a hairier dude.
Wait, can Sasquatch climb trees? I thought he's kind of big and not very mobile.
So it was a bear.
You think so?
A drop bear.
I mean, Brody, this is your wheelhouse. This could have been a family member.
It wasn't an Ewok. It was a very large. We're not very large creatures.
So it was a Wookiee.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a Wookiee.
Wookiees live in the trees of Kashyyyk?
Brody knows more than he's revealing here.
No, it wasn't one of us.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't want to spill the beans on one of his people.
Here's the best part of this whole story.
Uh-huh.
This was put out by the police department. If you possess any information concerning the suspect or the Sasquatch, contact Glenwood.
Oh, so they're taking this very seriously.
Stop
so,
it!
yeah.
You are not funny, police department, but hilarious.
You gotta love when they got a sense of humor. How about the poor guys over in New Orleans who just arrested a hairdresser for making voodoo dolls from his customers' hair?
Creepy.
Oh, boy.
That's just Tuesday there.
Are those the ones that didn't tip, Alan? Or are they,
Well, basically he was making voodoo dolls out of people's hair and then basically extorting them.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
So they didn't arrest him for the creepiness. They arrested him for the extortion.
Yeah, well, Andy, when I dyed your hair, I took a lock of it, and you're going to pay me money or I'm going to do some bad stuff to you.
Sure.
So the trick is not that a curse or something that is real or not. It's the fact that it is a real threat.
Right.
So this lovely hairdresser is now facing a total of 184 criminal charges. Wow.
Yeah, but Alan, in New Orleans, that's a pretty solid business model, honestly. I mean, those guys out there with the voodoo and everything, they believe in that. So.
Yeah. And that's how it works.
Alan's got several comrades that would fall into that trap.
Wow.
So.
Okay.
Well, mine's pretty pedestrian, but I thought there were.
Gotta end on you.
You're in Florida.
I'm in Florida.
You're going to wait.
You're gonna wait.
Because he's in New Jersey.
Oh, sorry.
All I know is that if it comes down to it, though, and yours is pretty straightforward, and it doesn't hit the mark, Brody's going to feel really stupid.
No, I think you'll like it.
So anyways, Transportation Security Administrations in Newark, New Jersey, at Newark's Liberty Airport, uncovered a more decorative than deadly weapon when they checked a passenger's carry-on.
Oh, dear.
Now, of course, you know that travelers are not permitted to travel with real or replica firearms.
Correct.
Going through security checkpoints. And on Tuesday, agents thought there was a gun in the bag when it went through the X-ray machine. However, a closer inspection revealed a gun-shaped toilet paper roller.
Yeah.
Wow.
The realistic replica gun was designed to spin paper instead of bullets. I figured Joe's got at least 4 of these in his house. He probably walks around with them in a holster, and whenever it's that time...
So you spin the chamber, and the toilet paper comes out.
Right.
Is that where it comes?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great design, man.
It's by the Colin Furs Company.
Making firearms fun again.
I'm just trying to figure out who
That's what
thought,
it looks like.
Who thought this was a good idea?
I
To
did.
stick this-
Hang on. I got my gun pee-pee holder.
It's never too young.
To put this in a carry-on.
Yeah.
I need to from the bunghole and shoot it off at the same time.
You can follow the TSA on Instagram, and they show you all kinds of crazy things people think are fine to put in their carry-on.
So anyways, they gave him an option. He could surrender it to them. He could he could go back through the checkpoint and hand it off to the person who had brought him, or he could put it into a check bag.
Yeah.
And he decided to surrender it to the TSA because who wants to pay to check a bag?
Right.
I mean, seriously.
Wait, he bought this where?
Oh, he bought it in Jersey. He's fixing to leave New Jersey to go home.
Probably is this one of these back alley purchases, or is this something you get in a store in Jersey?
I mean, I'm sure that he found it in some little novelty shop and said, "Man, that's awesome."
Yeah,
You know?
it is pretty
I mean,
cool, man.
we know that there are people who have collectability when it comes to toilet things. I mean. I almost bought a Thor's hammer that mounts onto the back of your toilet that you put the toilet paper on the handle of your
Wait, where do we get that?
Amazon. It's $30.
Okay, yeah.
Is it full size?
We now have Joe a Christmas
we have a full
gift.
size holder that serves as a toilet paper holder.
Yep.
People
I'm
will
in.
buy anything.
I'm in.
I'm in.
We're getting
Okay.
3.
Yes.
Didn't he do that in Endgame? I mean, he had something. That's basically the only thing he used that. Anyway, okay. He was
No,
because
remember, he didn't get Mjolnir back until later. He had Stormbreaker, which he used as a bottle opener.
That's right. Okay. All right. Well, here we go, Florida. So.
Yay! We made it home.
So, don't worry, if this is bad, I've got something we can talk about for Florida. Okay.
No, it's more just interesting. So you don't leave your garage door open in Florida. That's rule
Well,
one.
no.
Okay, but Alan, do bears normally show up in Florida?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I guess I missed the memo.
I didn't
on
know
this.
that
I
either.
Oh
didn't
yeah,
know
they
there
got
were
black bears.
Dude.
Oh yeah, big time.
If you check YouTube, there is Florida video of a bear fighting an alligator.
Yeah.
Oh, now that's a throwdown.
That sounds awesome.
That's pretty
see if I can
cool.
find it.
Who wins in that battle? Honestly, I feel like
We do.
It's in water. Anyway, well, okay, so Pamela Boredom, her name's Boodrom, whatever.
Boredom.
it is. Boardroom. She left her garage door open because she was working on a home improvement project and came in to find a bear that was eating that had dug into their freezer. But here's the thing. The items of choice, because it was full of food, the bear was eating sausages and Cool Whip.
Yeah.
No!
Party, baby.
Alan, you're the chef. Could those possibly work together? That's
Man,
awful.
fat is where it's at,
wait,
baby.
wait.
It's all I gotta say.
That's our geeky
That bear
challenge.
came from someplace awesome.
Cool Whip and sausages.
That was a crazy party.
That bear stumbled into that garage.
I have to
thought
ask.
it was home and was like, I'm in. I'm all good. Let's have it.
See, my question is this, and I mean, I'd follow up as a reporter. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, was it sausages like kielbasa or smoked sausage or something along those lines? Is it a bratwurst or is it breakfast sausage? That's
Yeah.
what I would be asking. Because I feel bad for the bear if it was a high-saged, spicy breakfast sausage.
Oh, yeah.
But
it's
Cool
frozen,
Whip is
too.
Cool Whip would have loved it.
Cool Whip is amazing on breakfast food.
Frozen Cool Whip sounds like a treat, but I just don't know what it does to a bear's stomach. Like, our dog couldn't have chocolate or any of that stuff. Because
Here it is.
It's a bear, and he didn't care.
Yeah. So,
all I gotta
Alan, that's
say.
your next challenge. We want to see you prepare a dish with Cool Whip and sausages.
It can be
that
done.
story-
Okay.
It can be done.
That's like that story. Y'all ever heard the story of the bear who ate like 150 pounds of cocaine that like fell out of a plane or something?
The one that then went into the small Canadian town and ransacked the convenience store, eating everything in sight.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was like
And then he
basically
just walks out.
they found the body of the bear because obviously that much cocaine. Its heart exploded or something.
He stole the cocaine. That's
And-
him.
Why would it like the taste of that?
The damn bear is a damn Sasquatch.
Nobody's gonna believe it's a bear, so he blames the gang.
So,
And by the way, that bear was so hopped up on cocaine, he made it to Colorado.
yes.
Oh, and started a new family.
And
then died.
wanted to start a new family with the dude, but the dude was too, like,
It moved
uptight.
the cocaine man, it moved so fast, it was like flash fast.
Yeah, and it was like, it was a damn Sasquatch. No, it was Super Bear.
Jeez.
That's what I said. It was a bear.
Yeah.
Brandon, don't you want to issue one of your? We like to apologize to those of you who have lost bears due to cocaine. I mean, that's usually your line there. I had to carry it for you.
I just can't think of any bears that might be listening to us right now who aren't going to think about that and just see it as a cautionary tale not to eat found cocaine.
No, that's just like the one Steve bear that everybody's like, damn it, Steve.
Yeah. Bears obviously don't have very good taste.
His name is John.
Okay.
Just Josh.
Yeah.
It's not tennis Josh, not little Josh in the truck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you're trying to say this bear was a stranger thing.
Yes.
There you go. Yeah.
All right.
There we
go. Okay. Well, anyway, speaking of, never mind. So, what a show, you guys! I'm really proud of today. Excellent. Everybody just knocked it out of the park today, and it was great having our buddies Kazha back in the studio and Catherine Knowles and everybody.
We had a revolving door. Felicia Day on the phone.
Yeah, Felicia Day. I can't wait to. Yeah, absolutely. So, so we've done our job, man. Let's get and Allie. Let's go home.
And whatever you are.
And out.
Anyway, so until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
I'm Allie Diggs.
I'm Allie Gilbert.
I'm Brody.
I'm Andy.
I'm Brandon, reminding you that next season we will not talk about how Trump's trying to be the ultimate Florida man.
Ooh.
Geek Tank Radio. More below and on 1019kissfm.com. Keyword Geek Tank.